who spare their time to give lecture about agriculture in this webinar. And thank you too for all participants who attend this guest lecture. Okay, allow me to read the profile of our speakers today. First speaker is Dr. Ami Lizbeth Rico. Good afternoon, Dr. Ami.
Good afternoon.
Okay, yeah, Dr. Ami from Tarlac Agriculture University, Philippines. She got her PhD in 2019 in agriculture engineering at Central Luzon State University. And for the master degree, he got from Central Luzon State University too. And for bachelor degree, she got a bachelor degree in University of the Philippines, Los Banos. For the work of experience, 2006, she present Associate Professor 1 at Tarlac Agricultural University. And for the research background, 2014 until 2015, she researched about influence of shallow tube wells for irrigation on the hydraulic properties of the aquifers. And from 213 until 215, she studied about enhancing productivity and profitability of rain-fed rice-based farms in Western Tarlac. And for second speaker, we have Professor Supriyanto. Good afternoon, Professor Supriyanto.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Supriyanto is from ITS. He got bachelor degree in chemical engineering in University Gadjah Mada, Indonesia in 1985. And then he continued to get master degree in environmental biotechnology at Ghent University, Belgium. And then in 2002, he got PhD in environmental biotechnology at Strathclyde University, Glasgow, UK. And for the professional positions, in 2019, Professor Supriyanto as a head of Center for Appropriate Technology Studies in ITS, and then in 2011, he was a head of Center for Technological Innovation, ITS. He got professor in 2010 in ITS, and then in 2008 he became a senator in ITS. Okay, for the third speaker, we have Dr. Dedi Zulhidayat Noor. Good afternoon, Dr. Dedi.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Dr. Dedi is from ITS too. He got bachelor degree. Maybe.
Yes, that not my CP. Okay.
Yes. I think Miss Dr. Dedi got degree in mechanical engineering.
Yes.
As I know.
For bachelor and master in ITS.
Yes, and then PhD in
NTUST Taiwan, National Taiwan University of Science and Technology.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dedi. And then for the professional positions, Dr. Dedi is a vice head of Center of Applied Technology ITS, and a lecturer of Mechanical Industry Department in Vocational Faculty of ITS. And for the research field, Mr. Dedi study in energy conversion and mechanical design. For the research and publications in 2019, he studied about numerical investigation of freely falling objects using direct forcing immerse boundary method. Yeah, there are the profile of our three speakers. I'm sorry, a little bit. Yeah, I remember one quote that it said that whatever seeds that are planted in Indonesian land, it will grow up well without much care. However, in my opinion, without the right technology and processes, we can't provide optimal results. Therefore, what is technology that can be used in agriculture, how to process agriculture product, and how to manage the agriculture waste will be explained by our speakers. Okay, without further ado, let's start with the first presentation from Dr. Ami about sustainable mechanized agriculture for research and technology for about 30 minutes. Dr. Ami, time's yours.
Good afternoon. So let me share my screen first. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So before anything else, thank you for that warm welcome and introduction. So to our attendees, faculty members, students, researchers, colleagues, so ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So on behalf of the Tarlac Agricultural University, I would like to thank ITS Surabaya for inviting me in your guest lecture series on sustainable development goals. So I am Dr. Lizbeth J. Rico, an associate professor and the manager of the Smart Center of the Tarlac Agricultural University, and I'm to discuss the sustainable mechanized agriculture for research and technology. So to start, according to Blanco and Lai in 2008, soil is the most fundamental and basic resource that provides food, feed, fuel, and fiber. So it is a medium for plant growth and a non-renewable resource over the human time scale. So, however, soil is being degraded at an alarming pace worldwide. The impressive achievements of the Green Revolution are in danger of being lost because that cannot be sustained. So UNDP and FAO in 1994 estimated a worldwide loss every year of 5 to 7 million hectares of agricultural soil, wherein only 11% or 1,500 million hectares of the Earth's surface can be used to grow useful plants. So soils have been greatly damaged in the tropics and subtropics, and so fertile agricultural land is disappearing. So the great challenge now facing mankind is to ensure that the sustainable use of resources such as soil, water, and nutrients to secure food supply, conserve the environment, and alleviate the poverty. So therefore, development of state-of-the-art technologies as central means to solve hunger and poverty as challenge to increasing food production is the most critical need of this generation. Thus, efficient use of resources and modern technology is indispensable. So one of the seen solutions is the use of soilless culture, which is commonly referred to as hydroponics, and is an excellent option for traditional farming. So it permits less planting space, grow crops where soil is not suitable for cultivation, where water supply is limited, and is useful for studies in plant nutrition and diseases. So hydroponics is growing of plants without soil and growing of plants in water. So plants are grown in the growing beds filled with gravel, sand, and other materials and get nutrients that they need from a water solution added to the beds. Hence, crop production is greater than planting in the soil, according to Anderson et al. So why hydroponics? So let me enumerate the advantages of using hydroponics. First, it is a versatile technology appropriate for both developing countries and high-tech space stations. So it is appropriate in highly populated tourist areas where skyrocketing land prices have driven out traditional agriculture. It can efficiently generate food crops from barren desert sand and desalinated ocean water, mountainous regions too steep to farm, city rooftops and concrete schoolyards, and even in Arctic communities. So hydroponic technology is highly productive and mostly suitable for automation. It can provide locally high-value specialty crops such as fresh salad greens, herbs, and cut flowers like strawberries. It has greater water and nutrient use efficiency, and it can eliminate or reduce risk of soil-borne pathogens attack because there is no herbicide and pesticide treatments that is used. So it can increase in yields, better plant health, greater plant density, and more productive longevity, according to Resch in 2012. However, there are also some disadvantages in using hydroponics. So namely, operation of hydroponics is dependent on electricity and other economic factors, and it needs continuous monitoring. So because of the intense research and experimental activities in soilless cultivation, this led to the development of numerous systems such as follows. So one is the deep water culture or DWC. So it consists of buckets filled with nutrient solution covered with net and cloth on which thin layer sand is placed to support the plants. So the bucket may be covered with lead and plants in net pots suspended in the center of the cover. So next is the NFT or the nutrient film technique. So NFT uses a very thin layer of nutrient solution applied at elevated and flowing down through channels. So the slope of which is 1 to 3%, keeping roots completely wet. So at lower end of the channel, solution are drained to a large catchment pipes which conducts the solution back to the cistern to be recirculated. So next is the float hydroponics. So here, plants are grown on trays floating in tanks filled with nutrient solution or the polystyrene or styrofoam. So it uses little automation and management cost for monitoring and adjusting solutions. So it is made up of low-cost materials such as concrete, bricks, wooden planks, and is directly dug into greenhouses. So next is the aeroponics. So here plants are grown with root systems suspended in a fine mist of nutrient solution applied continuously or intermittently. So here plants are secured in whole of polystyrene panels using polyurethane foam. So panels are horizontally placed or on a slope. So fixed over a metal frame and arranged in closed containers with a square or triangular section. So next is the aquaponics. So there are two main components of the system, which are the fish tank and the grow beds with a small pump. So nutrients passes through the roots of the plants before draining back into the fish tank. So the basic principle is that fish are led with low value organic product or the fish meal or plant products which they convert into animal protein. So the waste from fish is converted into soluble nutrients absorbed by plants and cleaned water returns to the fish tank. So it can be an alternative production system that could provide direct access to clean and food and extra income. So here, the Tarlac Agricultural University, Philippines, sustainable agriculture for food security is our target. So as you can see, our tagline says, where agriculture and technology evolve as students get involved. So because we believe in the potentials of students in making an evolution in our agriculture and technology. So we will continue stimulating interest in smart agriculture among students inside and outside the university by introducing the trends in agriculture through lectures and hands-on program to increase awareness regarding smart farming. So let me show you into details the works done in the center to support sustainable environment.
The UN projects that the world's population will reach 9.7 billion by 2050, causing global agricultural production to rise 69% between 2010 and 2050. To meet this demand, farmers and agricultural companies are turning to the Internet of Things for analytics and greater production capabilities. The IoT is set to push the future of farming to the next level. Smart agriculture is already becoming more commonplace among farmers, and high-tech farming is quickly becoming the standard thanks to agricultural drones and sensors. And this is where Tarlac Agricultural University is heading. The Tarlac Agricultural University Sustainable Mechanized Agriculture for Research and Technology, or the TAU Smart Agriculture Center, is established in 2019 with total farm area of 6,126 square meters. It aims to establish and sustainably operate automated and non-automated greenhouse in Tarlac Agricultural University. The automated greenhouses consist of automated monitoring and controlling devices for the inside environment, such as temperature and relative humidity, and water systems such as nutrient solution, temperature, and pH. The Smart Agriculture Center is aligned to precision agriculture, which brings an information revolution in agriculture based on new technologies to increase farm productivity, profitability, sustainability, environmental protection, food safety, and quality of life. The mission of Smart Agriculture Center at the Tarlac Agricultural University is to foster the implementation of smart and precision agriculture. Its focus is to forge interdisciplinary partnerships to advance technology transfer by implementing and developing collaborative research, education, and outreach programs related to smart agriculture. The general objective of the TAU Smart Agriculture Center is to build resilience and minimize emissions from agricultural farming systems for enhanced food and nutritional security and improved livelihoods. The specific objectives were: 1. To enhance adaptive capacity and resilience of students, farmers, and other stakeholders to the adverse impacts of climate change. 2. To develop mechanisms that minimizes greenhouse gas emissions from agricultural production systems. 3. To improve coordination and collaboration among institutions and stakeholders in smart agriculture. And 4. To address cross-cutting issues that adversely impact or enhance smart agriculture. Activities. The Smart Agriculture Center aims to carry out its mission of fostering the implementation of smart agriculture in many ways. The center will be a hub for bringing people together to work collaboratively on problems related to smart agriculture. The center will be a platform for forging interdisciplinary research collaborations across disciplines, both within and outside the Tarlac Agricultural University. The center will host seminar series with the goal of sharing research being carried out in the center, which we hope stimulates new ideas and cultivates new interdisciplinary ideas. instruction. The Smart Agriculture Center will continue stimulating interest in smart agriculture among students in and outside the university by introducing the trends through lecture and hands-on program. It will also cater internship programs, on-the-job training, and educational trips not only to students but also to the community to increase awareness regarding smart farming. The Smart Agriculture Center will serve as venue for classes, both lecture and laboratory classes, that involves crop production, agronomy, irrigation, computer application, and the like. Research. The Smart Agriculture Center will be a hub for conducting multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary research in the university, both for internal and external funding agencies. The center will develop and implement innovative techniques in the field of agriculture. The research outcomes and technologies developed will be transferred to producers and industry partners. The following are the disciplines that will be catered in the Smart Agriculture Center: agricultural infrastructure, nutrient management, irrigation, horticulture, environmental monitoring, agronomy, and information technology or automation. Extension. The Center's extension program aims to partner with industry, producers, and academics to develop content for workshops, symposia, and training modules. The Center will serve as a teaching facility for hands-on training programs for students, faculty members, workers, enthusiasts, and the community. In addition, TESDA-related national certification trainings and assessment can be conducted in the center. Production. The Smart Agriculture Center serves as a year-round source of locally grown high-value crops for the community since the crops are grown inside a protective structure. The greenhouse operations will rely on renewable energy sources like wind pump for water source for power and use ecologically sustainable growing methods to cultivate high-value crops and bedding plants. Moreover, the center will also serve as agrotourism site to stakeholders wherein flowering plants and perennial crops will be planted surrounding the greenhouses. The TAU Smart Agriculture Center uses hydroponic systems in crop production for automated systems. The following are the systems used for hydroponics. Nutrient film technique. How it works. A pump continuously forces the nutrient solution onto the grow tray flowing over plants. Then it drains back to the reservoir via the slightly downward channel. No timer needed. Pros. Little to none growing medium use. Recirculating, water saving. Cons. Susceptible to pump failure and power outages. Not suitable for large, heavy plants. This active and recovery system is a very common hydroponic one which has been used by lots of gardeners for commercial growing. Again, NFT uses the submersible pump and reusable nutrient solutions. It works by constantly flowing the solutions, so no timer is used. The nutrient is pumped into the growing tray or a tube and delivered to the root systems of the plants. Once the flow reaches the channel's end, it drains back to the reservoir through the slight downward tube. The roots suspended above the water level are constantly moisture and get plenty of oxygen from the air surrounding them. To provide oxygen in the water and the grow tube, air stones or capillary matting must be placed in the reservoir. This also helps keep the system run for long without manually and frequently checking. Since no growing medium is used, plants are usually held in a grow basket or a supporting collar. And because there is no growing medium to hold moisture, an extended period of interruption of the nutrient solution can make the roots dry and plants death. Deep water culture. How it works. Plants are placed in a net pot and are held by a floating platform above a container of nutrient and water. Plant roots are suspended and stretched into the nutrient-rich oxygenated solution. Pros. Inexpensive, easy to build. Recirculating, water saving. Cons. not suitable for larger plants, not suitable for plants with a long growing period. DWC is an active recovery system, so there are moving parts. Of all active system of hydroponic growing, this is the simplest. All you need is a net pot, a reservoir or container, a lid, and a pump. Plants will be grown in a net pot with some growing media. They are placed and held by the lid on the top of the reservoir or container. Roots grow out of the net pot and reach the nutrient solution held in the reservoir below. An air pump helps oxygenate the water and let roots breathe. In other words, this system works by immersing plants' roots directly into the nutrient solution of the reservoir that is highly oxygenated. The cons of this system are that it does not work well with large and long-growing plants. Very few plants other than lettuce thrive in this system. Drip system. How it works. Drip system pumps the nutrient solution through the tube and drops onto plants' roots via a network of drip lines. The action is often made automatical by a timer. Pros: simple to build and use. More control of nutrient amounts and water schedule. Cons: pH and nutrient fluctuations. More suited to larger gardens. Drip systems can be active recovery or non-recovery type system. They are among the most common types of hydroponic systems in the world, especially for commercial growers. The main principles behind the system are quite simple yet effective, and so their popularity. A timer is set to schedule the submerged pump. When the timer is on, the nutrient solution is pumped and dripped onto plant's base through a small drip line. And with this line emitter for each plant, gardeners can adjust the amount of solution per plant they want. Since this is a drip system, slow draining medium is often used like rock wool, coconut coir, or peat moss. The downside of the drippers or meter system is declogging, which is formed by the particles from nutrients that accumulated in the emitter. The TAU Smart Agriculture Center will look into the possibility and funds for the establishment of the other types of hydroponic systems such as aeroponics, wick system, and ebb and flow. Thank you.
So that is all about our center or the smart center. So hydroponics is put forward as a solution to combat climate change, to reduce the environmental damage and species extinction caused by overexploitation and intensive farming. So let us all work hand in hand to make a better environment and to meet our sustainable development goals. So before I end my lecture, I would like to thank ITS Suribaya, sa Tarlac Agricultural University, our beloved president, Dr. Max P. Guillermo, the Director of External Linkages and International Affairs, Dr. Cristina Ferrer, and our Dean at the College of Engineering and Technology, Dr. Lionel Pilihauco, for this opportunity. Also to Mr. Jason Elenzano for the AVP and Ms. Chris Anjoy Imbat, the voiceover on the AVP. So for your questions and additional information, you can reach me through the following details. So thank you for your kind attention. Maraming salamat and hope to meet you again soon. So have a great day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ami, for the insightful explanation and video. It's really amazing, awesome that there are many technologies in agriculture. Before we listen to second speaker, I remind the participants, if you have any questions, you can write it in the link that is given in the chat box. And then you can ask directly by raising hand when the third speakers has explained the lecture. Okay, we continue to the second lecture. We will listen to presentation from Professor Supriyanto about the utility of agricultural waste for biogas productions. For Professor Supriyanto, time's yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Can you hear everybody?
Yes, Professor, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. The time's for me to speak. Yeah, today I would like to give a lecture according to the utility of agriculture waste for biogas production. First of all, we would like to introductions. What is the biogas? Biogas is considered a renewable energy source that does not contribute to the impact of greenhouse gases. The main composition of the gas consists.
Excuse me, Professor. May I interrupt?
Yeah.
You haven't shared screen your presentation.
Oh, I apologize. Hold on. It's okay now.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. I apologize. I'm sorry about that. So we would like to introduce what is the biogas. Biogas is, I think, is everybody knows. Yeah, it's very simple how to make it. Yeah, but I would like to explain at least so we can know what's how to make it is very easy. Yeah, because it's considered a renewable energy source that does not contribute to the impact of greenhouse gases. The main composition of the gas consists mainly of methane, yeah, CH4, and carbon dioxide, CO2. So the methane or biomethane is CH4, is a renewable natural gas that's made from source of organic matter as biogas. This is then cleaned by removing impurities in the biogas, such as CO2 is 2S, because this component is very corrosive if we use directly to the equipment. Yeah. Biogas is formed when organic material is broken down by the activity of microorganisms in oxygen-free environment, which is called anaerobic digestion. Yeah. In this case, microorganisms play an active role through complex network processes and interact with each other to break down complex organic compounds such as carbohydrates, fats, proteins into methane and carbon dioxide as end products. Yeah. This natural process is widely used in biogas plant using organic materials such as activated slags from wastewater treatment animal waste, agriculture residues, and food waste. Yeah. Then, what is the important microorganism in this process? We have a lot of various type of microorganism play the important play in this process. Yeah, this called anaerobic digestion processes. Organic material like this to break down through the role of the heterotrophic microorganism. For example, Methanosarcina thermophila, Methanoculus thermophilis, and Methanobacterium formicicum. This bacteria play the important role during anaerobic digestion. Bacteria like Methanobrevibacter formicicum and Methanosarcina is important to produce biogas. Yeah. Next, yeah. To produce biogas, this process is anaerobic breakdown of organic matter occurs in four biological and chemical stages. There are four states to produce biogas. The first is hydrolysis, the second acidogenesis, the third acidogenesis, and finally methanogenesis. So every step there is a different bacteria play the important part in here. For example, this diagram, if we have a material, organic compounds, can be protein, can be carbohydrates. This is all is a complex polymers, lipids. So the step to produce biogas, we have four stages. The first is hydrolysis, acidogenesis, and finally the methanogenesis. This is very complex reactions occur in this process. From the complex organic compound, by hydrolysis we produce amino acids, sugar, and also from lipids we can produce fats, alcohol. This one the step we have or in the hydrolysis process. So the products intermediates like butyrates and propionic acid, this called this acidogenesis. And the next stage is acidogenesis. This one, the process to produce acetate, because the acetate is very important to produce biogas or to produce methane. Also the gas hydrogen, CO2, this important component. The finally is the process methanogenesis here. In this stage, so the methane is produced. So there are many stages here. The next stage we can explain here. The hydrolysis, this is for anaerobic digester. So if we have the organic complex compound here, so by the participants of the bacteria, for example, the Pseudomonas, Eubacteria, Clostridium, and Ruminococcus. So the organics carbohydrate here, like C6, it stands O5N, and this organic is hydrolyzed to produce sugar here. It is a sugar, for example, glucose. Also, if we have protein or sucrose, by hydrolyze, we can produce soluble amino acids or probably glucose or fructose. This is the process for hydrolysis. And the next process is acidogenesis here. This is the second stage. So the monomer produced from the hydrolysis, this degraded by the last variety of facultative and anaerobic bacteria through many fermentation pathway. For example, for Pseudomonas, Escherichia coli, Clostridium, Actinomyces, Corynebacterium, Bacillus, and Flabobacterium. If we have substrate, yeah, for the acidogenesis here to produce CO2, hydrogen, and acetate. Also, we can produce propionates, butyrates, and ethanol. The reaction here can be, if we have glucose, yeah, or sugar here, can be converted to ethanol and CO2, or probably propionates. Yeah. This is the stage for acidogenesis. Yeah. The next process is acidogenesis here. This is the third stage. The acetates can be produced not only by the fermentation of dissolved organic compound, but also by acidogenesis. Like Mechanobacterium, suboxidans bacteria play a role in the breakdown of pentanoic acid into propionic acid, while Mechanobacterium propionicum bacteria play a role in breaking down propionic acid into acetic acid. From reaction here, so if we have carbohydrate here, yeah, carbohydrate by hydrolysis to produce acetates and gas CO2, gas hydrogen. Yeah. This is the process in the space acidogenesis. This is the important to produce the biogas. Yeah. And the last stage, that is methanogenesis. The methane here is produced by the methane producing bacteria. So almost 66% acetates can be produced to form methane here by bacteria Methanocytae and Methanosarcina. Sorry. Here we have a reaction, methanogenic reaction here from acetate. Yeah. So we can convert to methane. Also from hydrogen can be converted to methane here. This is by the bacteria acetoplastic methanogens, and the second is by hydrogen utilizing methane bacteria to convert hydrogen to methane here. Okay. Yeah. According to Buswell, yeah, production biogas here, if we have compound CHO and S, so the final production is CO2, methane, ammonia, and H2S here. Yeah. This is according to Buswell. For example, if we have compound like here, if we have glucose here, from glucose will be converted to methane and CO2. If we have 1 kilogram glucose, so we will produce methane about 373 liters. This is just theoretical calculation. Yeah. Yeah. We can continue. Sorry. For raw material. Yeah. So the agricultural waste or from the plants, we have water ricin, we have kangkung Indonesia, yeah, kangkung. Also the agricultural waste here and banana peels. So this raw material can be used to produce biogas. So it's very easy actually to produce biogas. Yeah. And then we can also use the raw material, the waste of palm oil mill effluent or foamy here. Can also, we can use biogas. The next raw material here, by grinding, water hyacinth, yeah, can be grinding and can be grinded to produce groundwater hyacinth. Yeah. So it's easier to convert to biogas after processing grinding. Then into in lab scale digester here, we have a bioreactor here, and then the inputs from here, and the gas here we can produce. Yeah, this is very simple for the large scale digester here. Also, we can use the digester from plastic reactor here. This is the gas we can produce. Yeah, this is for example, biogas we produce from this experiment. Next, this is for the lagoon digester. The raw material is from Pome. Yeah, this is plant in lagoon covered with like plastic here. So the volume gas is like here. Yeah, this is the example. We use the vinasse as raw material here. Yeah, this is the waste from ethanol industry. Can be used to produce biogas. Yeah. Also, we can use the raw material from udang here. This is sample. So we can use for the cooking. Yeah, this is very easy and very simple. This is the digester we make. The raw material is from udang. Yeah. You can see the result from the experiment here. We can use the hydraulic retention time for 15 days here. So we use the water ricin 2 kilograms per day. We can produce biogas 7,000 milliliter per day. We use 3 kilograms per day water ricin. The gas is produced about 6.8 liters, and also 4 kilograms per day water ricin. We can produce 1,000 milliliter per day biogas. Sorry. Yeah, if we use the raw material from fruits and vegetables here, so every loading rate we can do it. Yeah. The sample is about 2 kilograms of mixed fruit and vegetable waste. Yeah. This is the loading we can use in 2 grams per day per liter here. Yeah. The maximum we can produce from here with loading rates about 0.0375 to produce biogas. It's 1,000 milliliter per day. If you use the vegetable and rice waste here, so every raw material we can produce different yields. This is a rice green mustard mixture. This is water rising and rice. So it produces 1,700 and 1,300 milliliter per day. It's depend on the raw material we use. If we use the raw material from tofu with water, yeah. So with difference, it's RT here or hydraulic retention time and produce biogas 2,007 50 milliliter per day. Also for HRD 30 days, we can produce gas about 1,100 milliliter. Okay. If we use the tofu with water, and then we use the tomato ketchup here. Production per day is like here. This depending on the hydraulic retention. If you use its RT 10 days, 1 days, and 2 days, the result is like this here. This is for 10 days. The biogas production is about 370. If 7 days, the biogas production is about 360 milliliter per day. And for 2 days, biogas production is about 337. Okay. Yeah. So the biogas composition actually the dominant is methane. It's about 40 and to 70%. If carbon dioxide contains about 20 to 30%, this is gas production here. And then OLR is organic loading rate. Yeah. This is important parameter in this process. OLR is about the amount of organic load. This is as a COD of diorganic solid per cubic meter digester volume per. Yeah, very important parameters we use for experiment. Yeah. Also, its RD is a measure to describe the average time a certain substance remain in the digester. Yeah. So its RD we can measure by the volume of reactor divided by flow rates. Yeah. So this RD is also important parameter we use this experiment. Yeah. So it's also very important because it's easier to context between the incoming fresh substrates and viable population of bacteria, and also different thermal stratification and formation of scale foam build up on the surface in the anaerobic digester. So for the inhibitor, because it's very important, like chlorinated hydrocarbon is bacteria. Nitro compounds is very harmful. Antibiotics, strains, virginiamycin, this inhibitor for bacteria. These negative effects of heavy metals and in the presence of sulfides, the negative impacts can be reduced as precipitation. Also, ammonia H2S is also dangerous for bacteria. Yeah. This should be neglected. Yeah. So what's the utilization of biogas here? Biogas can be for stove, can be for lights, can be electrical generation, can also for okay. Yeah. If we have motorization, for example, 1 ton per day delivers 50 kilowatts hour, or 1 ton will provide 200 meter cubic biogas. This is just example. Just example. Also, we can compare between biogas or methane with exhaust gas. So if we have 1 ton methane, this is equal of 21 ton emission of exhaust. So methane is more dangerous than CO2. We have to protect the release of methane environment because of diversion of waste. If we dispose the waste to the environment, it may cause of methane gas. Okay, I think it's enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Supriyanto, for the great and clear explanation about biogas utility. And then I remind participants to, if you have a questions, please write your questions in the link in the chat box. And then we come to our last presentation from Dr. Dedi, who will present about agricultural product processing technology. Excuse me, maybe before Dr. Dedi give presentation, Professor Supriyanto. Oh, okay. Okay, Mr. Dr. Dedi, time's yours.
Okay, thank you, Aida. So let me share my presentation file first. Okay, can it be seen?
Yes, Mr. Dedi.
Okay, thank you, Aida. So the second part of our study center presentation is related to the processing of agricultural products. This time we take the topic regarding porang plant, the black gold from Asia. Porang can be grown and cultivated well in Asia, especially Southeast Asia. In Indonesia, porang has long been known as a wild plant. However, since the last 2 or 3 years, people have begun to realize that porang is a plant that has an economic value for cultivation. There are some countries that produce porang, Actually, China and Japan are the production of porang, but at the same time, they are also the export destination for Indonesian porang. It means that the availability of porang supply has not yet met the need of the countries. So what is porang? Porang is a tuber plant that contains a lot of glucomannan, which has many benefits. Porang usually grows wild in tropical forests with an average height of 1.5 meters and single growing with green and white stripes on the stem, like this. And porang has two kinds of bulb. The first is the root or ground bulb that contain inside the soil, like this. And the second one is the upper bulb, like this, that can be found at the base of each branch of or leaf stalk. And within 4 years, the porang will produce flower and then turn into fruit or seed, like this. One fruit stalk can produce 250 grains. There are some benefits of porang for health, food sources, low in calories, high glucomannan and fiber, alkaline food ingredient which can neutralize acid level in the body and have 7 kind of essential amino acid. And for health itself, reduce cholesterol and good for diabetic, wound healing, prevent cancer, diet from obesity, and treat constipation. And for industrial good, just like for paper, fabric, and strong glue, as well as waterproofing, and also for the pharmaceutical ingredient and cosmetic. So, and for sure, there are some others advantage or benefit of porang, especially the glucomannan content inside it. Then porang cultivation. There are 3 kinds of or 3 ways of porang cultivation. The first is by breeding by bulb. Yeah. By planting lower bulb, this lower bulb. Yeah. After 1 or 2 years, this bulb develop and can be harvested. And the second, by planting the upper bulb. This upper bulb, we name it in Indonesia katak. We planting katak. Yeah. After 2 or 3 years, this bulb have been developed and can be harvested as well. And the third method or third way is by seeding of flower seed, like this. For this kind of planting, yeah, it take 3 to 4 years to cultivate the porang. Okay. The countries in Southern Asia with tropical climates are the best for cultivating porang. So this is a place for us. Porang plants have a unique life cycle. The stem and leaves usually die during the dry season, but the bulb inside the soil, inside the ground, the earth, are still live and growing. In the rainy season, this bulb will emerge, shoot, and become new stems that produce upper bulb and seed itself. So for a country like China and Japan that I mentioned before, they require more effort for cultivating porang, especially at the rainy area, at the snowy area. When the winter come, they took bulb from the soil and put them at suitable places, and plant them again when winter was ended. So the acquired more effort. This is blessing from good for our country, tropical country. Just a majority of Southeast Asia country like Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Myanmar, etc. Now is porang processing. From harvesting, the part that is harvested from the porang plant is the root bulb. This root bulb that is in the soil. This part is then processed in the next step. On the other hand, while the top or the upper bulb that we call katak, that are taken used for cultivation or sold for nurseries. This katak, yeah. Okay. And then the next step is washing and cleaning. So after fulling, bulbs are then collected and cleaned from soil. There are several washing techniques, one of which is shown in the following video. This is the process of washing the bulb, lower or root bulb. Okay, so after cleaning process, porang bulb are then cut into chip with a thickness of 6 to 10 millimeter. The illustration can be seen here. Okay, I skip. I think it's enough. And the next step process is drying the chips. The first drying technique is the traditional method, in which the chips are left out in the sun until they are completely dry. This method takes 3 to 5 days, yeah, for drying and depend on weather condition. In the rainy season, this method cannot be used exactly because we need the sun to be shine. And the second technique is to use a dryer. With this technique, the drying process can be carried out all the time without being disturbed by the weather. In this process, electricity or gas is used as a source of drying energy. And there are some model of dryer like this cabinet with a tray, and this is a rotary dryer for porang or any other agricultural product. This illustration for rotary dryer. Okay, I think enough. And the next step is flour making by milling process. There are two common milling process, yeah. Namely dish milk like this and hammer milk like this. Yeah. Through this process, we'll have porang flour in terms of flour from cheap to be flour. and there are some different of these two kind of machine. For this mill, the process of making flour from chip is faster than the hammer mill. Of course, the milling process is slower than the disc mill. Is on the contrary, and the resulting flour grain is finer for this mill. But machine work more optimally when chip is milled in dry condition. In the other hand, hammer mill, it can work properly even with the chip with a higher moisture content. Of course, this is advantage and disadvantage of these two machines. And the last step is flour refining, consists of purification and extraction. Purification and extraction. Okay. In general, there are two objectives of this refining process. The first is to reduce calcium oxalate content inside the flour, and the second is extracting glucomannan from the flour itself. So, for reducing the calcium oxalate contents, there are two methods that used by people. The first is soaking up the chip in a certain liquid, just like acidic solution and saline solution. And the second is stirring porang flour with ethanol, like the picture in the bottom left, bottom right. Okay, this is for reducing calcium oxalate and extracting glucomannan. The separation of glucomannan from other ingredient can be done mechanically or chemically. The glucomannan flour is blown into a cyclone separator like this with higher density and larger particle and harder texture. Inside this cyclone separator, the particle of glucomannan will go down or fall in the area of the axis of the cyclone in the center. The other ingredient can be go out if the pressure is enough to push them out to the upper side, or they will go down and will collect it at the peripheral area. So it is easy then to distinguish between the glucomannan and the others ingredient. Okay. On the other hand, for this second method, the separation by sieve cause the glucomannan fraction, which has a greater size and weight, will be filtered out, while the other fraction or of the final flow will pass through the filter. Okay, this is the first two is a mechanical process, and the third one is a combined between mechanical and chemical process. The for the last one, we have stirring porang flour with ethanol. In addition to reducing calcium oxalate, can also extract glucomannan. So these two things can be gotten from this method to reduce calcium oxalate as well as extract the glucomannan. So put the fodder inside this drum and pour the ethanol with water and stir with machine. After some hours, there are some different research by some researcher, 1 hour, 2 hour, and depend of the content of ethanol itself, 60%, 70% ethanol, something like that. After that process, we open this cap and they will go down to the second part at the bottom, and the liquid that is ethanol or water will flow out, and glucomannan will be stay inside this second drum. Okay, this is the extraction of glucomannan. So what I'm talking about is the technology that is applied at the level of farmer. So there are some foreign factory in Indonesia. They have been producing foreign flour, and one of them the claim that they can produce foreign flour with 85% glucomannan. They claim that for this research, only up to 80% glucomannan. This is what we have from our researcher today. But one of factory, they said that they claim that they have been producing flour with content of glucomannan 85%. For sure, the method confidential for them, secret. They don't open to public. And also the best flour is come from Japan, that they can produce a flour with 95% glucomannan. This from Japan. So in Indonesia, 85. Okay, that is our topic today. And once we have this is the process from bulb to chip, and from chip then goes to flour. When we have the flour that fit the criteria, we can, especially for food like this, so we can use for many other things, for food, for cosmetic, for industrial, and for garments, something like that. There's a lot of benefit of glucomannan. So in the level of farmer, they only can do until this dry chip. After they get this, they sell or they bring this dry chip to the factory in Indonesia, or if they have channel, they export abroad to China or Japan. That's what we can do. We still lack technology of purifying or refining flour of glucomannan. That is what my topic today. Thank you for this opportunity. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Dedi, for the explanations. Yeah, I just found out that porang can be eaten, and furthermore, it has many advantages. In my childhood time, I think I avoided these plants because people say that this plant is the food for snake. So I avoid it when I played it when I was a kid. Thank you for our speakers for the explanations. We move onto Q&A sessions. I will check the link first, and maybe from participants, if participants wants to ask directly, you can click raise hand in your Zoom. Maybe from participants, any questions? Okay, maybe Dr. Ami, what is your recommendation for us to start plant vegetables in a tiny yard? Is it hydroponics or aquaponics?
Good afternoon. If you are going to start first as in a small area, I prefer it would be hydroponics first because when you combine the animals or the fish species and the plants, it would be more critical because you need to balance both environment.
Oh, okay, thank you. But I heard a rumor. It is said that hydroponics more dangerous than plant seeds in soil, because they said that when we plant seeds in soil, the fertilizer is degraded by soil first and then is absorbed by plant. While in hydroponics method, the fertilizer is directly absorbed by plant. What do you think, Dr. Ami?
I think the plants really absorb the nutrients that they need. That depends on the application or the fertilizer that they apply on the hydroponic system. On our university, we are trying to use organic fertilizers to the hydroponic system so that the produce or the crops that we produce are, we can say that they are healthy or organically grown.
Okay. Yes. So because in in the market area there is only chemical fertilizer for hydroponics, because someone said that organic fertilizer is not too good. It can slow the plant growth. Is it true?
Yes, because the inorganic fertilizers are really absorbed by the plants. They are really growth hormones, but then the organic fertilizers, they need to be broken down into the nutrients that the plants need. So the plants really are really, they do not grow that well compared to the plants that are applied with inorganic fertilizers. But of course, health wise, I prefer organic fertilizers.
Yes, me too. I prefer organics for fertilizer. Okay, maybe from participants who will ask any questions to our speakers here, you can raise hand.
Can I ask?
Okay, Prof. Suprianto.
Yeah, Miss Ami. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Could you tell us? Yeah. So what is the mechanism of absorption of organic matter or organic fertilizer and inorganic fertilizer to the plant? What is difference absorbing process?
The process of absorption is just same, sir, but it's just the amount that the plants absorb with the inorganic and organic fertilizers. Of course, the inorganic fertilizers, the composition of those are the components that the plants really need. They are chemically produced to sustain the needed nutrients by the plants.
Okay, thank you very much. And then maybe the questions for Professor Suprianto. In your study, what type of waste that can provide more biogas? And is the energy consumptions of Is biogas same?
Well, but the consumption, I mean,
Yes. If energy consumption from electrical component, if we have 1 watt lamp, we need biogas from maybe from food waste in some milliliters, but in some vegetables waste, it needs more milliliter.
yeah, the production of biogas actually depending on the contents of organic compound from the waste. Yeah, actually. So the dry mass, how many kilogram biomass can be converted to biogas? Yeah, actually, biogas production influenced by CN ratio, C dan N ratio, carbon and nitrogen ratio. That's very important to produce biogas. Okay, especially methane gas. Yeah. So the ratio can be 20. Yeah. If high carbon content, so the production CO2 is much. It's bigger than methane. So if a high nitrogen compound, ammonia produced is highest. So the ratio should be about 20 CN carbon and nitrogen ratio, I think, like that. Yeah. Okay, can we go to the point?
Okay. Okay, thank you, Professor Supriyanto. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, maybe for Miss Dr. Dedi. So extracting glucomannan in porang is done when it is in flour form or still in chip form.
Okay.
I missed that one.
Okay, actually, glucomannan can be extracted in the flour form, but the content of glucomannan it is depend on many aspects. First, from the condition of the soil when it is planted, and then when we make to dry this chip, it is a research that said drying using a traditional method means that use the sun, it will uh, give more glucomannan content than use machine. It is the statement from one researcher that it is better if for the same material, some left out on the sun and until it really dry, and the others dry with machine. And when we make a floor with machine, I already mentioned to mention this milk and hammer milk. Okay, actually there is another machine that's time mill. This time like this. Of course, the capacity will be decreased, but it will create or resolve more glucomannan content when we make floor from the chip to floor. So the machine itself, it will give more content of glucomannan. So in general, what I'm saying that the glucomannan can be extracting in form of fluor. Okay, but we can produce more glucomannan since it come to drying process and milling process. It will influence the content of glucomannan when we start trying to extract the content of glucomannan. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Dedi. Okay, maybe participants who wants to ask to our speakers can write your questions in the link in the chat box, or you can ask directly by raise your hand. I'm sorry, right, by click raise hand in the Zoom bar. Any questions from participants or maybe from committee? This is really interesting because Indonesia is known as agriculture country. The land in Indonesia is really large and can be planted by any seeds, and it will come well, it can grow well in Indonesia lands. Yeah, someone said. Any other questions? Let me check first. Okay, maybe from our speakers, do you have any additional information for us? Maybe from for home industry, what kind of technology that we can use, especially for Professor Supriyanto? What kind of technology that we can use in home industry to make biogas with a cheap cost, yeah, affordable cost, but can provide an energy for a home industry.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Because in Indonesia, it's not so many industry use biogas as a source of energy. Like PT Enero, there is plants biogas from financial waste. This biogas is only used in insurance company. It's not in general. Also, PT in North Sumatra. Also, there's plants of biogas, but this only used in intra industry. But in large communication, in large society, it's not so much. But usually the small area, this only use biogas for cooking only. Yeah. But actually, if you use the biogas as raw material, it's very cheap actually. Yeah. In Surabaya, I think there is plants electricity. They use biogas from rubbish. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay. So far, I know.
Yes, thank you, Professor Supriyanto. Maybe Dr. Ami, are there any ways from hydroponics or maybe aquaponics technology? Can it make waste really? Yeah, are there any waste agriculture from hydroponics and aquaponics? Because the media that is used for aquaponics or hydroponics, I think it's from some rubber, not rubber, apa ya? Fiber, isn't it? The media for hydroponics, Dr. Ani?
We use different media for hydroponics. Some are cocopeat, some are hydrotone, then some uses pebbles for their media. Some use a combination of CRH or the carbonized rice hull, sand, and even, what do you call that? Cocopeat, a combination of the three.
Oh, okay. Is it one time use only, or it can be used for more than one time? And uh, how many times that can be used if it more than one times?
We use it one time only, but some during our research, we use it. When we use it again, we use, what do you call that? We put it in the sun, under the sun, so that the fungicide and other particles or other pests and insects that are grown there can die, and we use it again.
Oh, okay. So if uh, if if the media can be used again, so what is it recycle or it just be thrown?
It is recycled. So what we do is we add some carbonized rice hull, so that the nutrients in carbonized rice hull can be used to add nutrients in the soil media. Also, coco peat.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the explanations, Dr. Ami. Okay, maybe from the participants again, any questions to our speakers? Okay, maybe Dr. Dedi, the process of porang, I see that it use many machines. Do you perhaps have built any of those machines in the college?
Yeah, we start to help farmer from the group of farmer through the hibah, from the local founding of ITS. We start from cutting machine and drying machine. That's the two things. And the last one for refining or purification, we just work on it. But it is for a scale of industrial home industry scale, not for a big industry like that. And it is still in research area.
Oh,
So we need more experiment to do the best design for this process. Okay.
okay. I see. Maybe it will become a mass product. So you can sell it to any farmers.
Yes, we just have an order from someone that just finished work on abroad. Yeah, Indonesian worker from, I think they just come from Saudi Arabia or from Taiwan, something like that, and he hold enough money, something like that, so he start up business on this area. So we just have order from him the four kind of machine for washing, cutting, and drying. Sorry, three kind machine, because for level of farmer they just come to dryer chip. They didn't come to floor making, because it will be challenge to verify them. So if only up to chip, dry chip, it is okay. There's a lot of market for them, local market, or even for export to abroad country like China or Japan, something like that. So we are working on this area.
It's really awesome. I hope you can be successful for the technology and the machines too. Okay, maybe if there is no any questions, I will give back the mic to Master of Ceremony, Miss Samara. And before that, I would like to say thank you for our speakers for the lecture that have been given. And then thank you for participants for the attendance. I'm sorry if I have any mistake as a moderator. Thank you very much and bye. I give the mic to Master of Ceremony, Miss Samara.
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Ida, for conducting this amazing session. And also thank you very much, Dr. Amy, Professor Supriyanto, and Mr. Dedi for the excellent lecture today. Furthermore, please give applause to our speakers and moderator by using the Zoom reaction feature. And then now we would like to present a certificate awarding to all of our speakers and also our moderator today. First is presented for Dr. Amy. Next is the certificate presented.
Thank you.
And then for our last speaker is the certificate presented for Mr. Dedi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but not least is the certificate presented to our moderator. Once again, thank you very much to all speakers and moderator for your availability on today's guest lecture series. We believe that your lecture will be useful for all of the participants. Now, before we end our lecture today, we invite you all participants as well as the honorable speakers and moderator to take a group photo. To all participants, please open your camera. Let's wait for a couple of minutes until the participants open their camera. Okay, maybe we'll start the photo session. I will count to 3, and there are 3 slides here, so please keep your smile until we finish the photo session. Now I will count 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Now we have finished our group photo. And then for the participants, please fill the feedback form through the link bit.ly/feedbackgls that you can also see on the Zoom chat room. The deadline for filling the feedback is 1 hour after we finish this session. And we want to remind you that the participant who will get the stamp for it is the participants who come on time, join this event until the end, and also fill the feedback form. Finally, we have reached the end of today's guest lecture series, and we sincerely apologize for any mistakes we may have made in presenting as Masters of Ceremony and Committee. Thank you very much to our honorable speakers, moderator, and all participants for the attention and cooperation. We will see you in the next guest lecture series next week. And in Tuesday, we will have the topic, Has the Pandemic Unleashed a Wave of Cyber Attacks and Intelligent Low-Rate Cyber Attack Detection? That will be delivered by Associate Professor Chaminda Hewaji and also Dr. Baskoro Apratomo. And for the second session in Wednesday, we have the topic New Innovation in Photonics Technology. See you next week. Thank you very much. Good afternoon and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Sampai jumpa.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for
Dr.
Dr.
Ami.
Ami and
Thank
Professor
you.
Dr. Dedi
See you
and Bu
later.
Aida
Yes, thank you.
and also Bu Oyin and all the participants.